Hello everyone, welcome to Beth's Beauty in the Void, and today I'm going to be going over my 2022 New Year's resolutions. Now by the time this video posts, it's probably either going to be the end of January or the beginning of February. But you know, resolutions are resolutions and they're supposed to last all year anyways. Now when it comes to resolutions, I typically feel a bit like confused by them. They either feel like very limiting or it's incredibly vague, like get healthy, and it's like I need more structure to help me get healthy, you know, because getting healthy could be a menagerie of different things. It could be being more mindful of what you consume. It could be eating this. It could be eating a billion different supplements. So, you know, the best brick house body of your dreams. For most New Year's resolutions, they didn't really work out for me. So this year I dedicated taking some time to find out which resolutions would work for me. And I also have a different kind of attitude where it's like, rather than bringing myself down or like trying to like, you know, have that internal dialogue of scolding myself because I didn't meet something that I wanted to meet, I would try to be kinder to myself. I have my resolutions written in my little planner right here, which, if I'm not sponsored or anything, but this is from Mochi Things and I absolutely love my planner. It's very, they have like pre-made planners, but you can also buy leaflets. Like mine has not only like the calendar leaves, but it also has like, it has graph paper, and then it has like daily expenses and like a drawing a day. So it's really nice. You can like customize how you make it. Sponsored, but like it's just so freaking cute and very useful. I personally prefer planners that I can just keep refilling over time. I know like there's still waste to it, but I just feel bad when you have a beautiful planner and you have to like throw it away because you have no use for it, or you just hold on to it and it's just kind of there. So in general for 2022, I dedicated this year to love, joy, healing, prosperity, education, and self-discovery. Now all those are incredibly vague and open, but in general, but they work for me because I personally have, for the past couple years now, I've been working on the framework in which I approach these things. I think a part of the disconnect between like a lot of people with like say mindfulness programs or tips is that for the longest time I would be like consuming this content and I would just be like, okay, it's like a math equation. Like they say 2 + 2 = 4, they show me how to do it, and they give me 5 + 2, and then I'm gonna do 7 because that's how you're supposed to apply it. But the more I've discovered, like I would feel so bad or like get so down on myself because I just felt like I would be completely incompatible with being more mindful, or like I felt like I wasn't being disciplined enough, which I think is another thing other people feel. So especially if like you have like chronic illness or mental illness, or like you're on the spectrum, or say you're neurodivergent. I think a lot of times like when we try to compare ourselves to how like the typically functioning person is supposed to be, and we fall short, we feel really bad and we feel like we need to do something different. We are constantly having to like overcompensate in order to meet these certain goals that society told us we need to meet in a certain way. But for the past couple years, as I've been learning more about myself, I've been learning different approaches. Because for most of my life, I was really like a stranger to myself, and most of the time it was really dedicated to like, you have to like do XYZ, you have to like just be doing the bare minimum to make sure you're surviving and to make sure others are taken care of, and there really wasn't anything else. That's where all my energy went to. And as a result, you know, ever since I was a kid, I really didn't understand the concept of self or myself. And so when a couple years ago I first started getting into the whole mindfulness and like self-improvement, I wanted to say fandom, but I know that's the incorrect word, self-improvement fandom. I felt a disconnect because I was like, I'm trying all these things and I just feel exhausted and I feel bad and I feel like I can't improve as a person. course, there's a lot of things that like did help me. There's a lot I wasn't completely incompatible with it. It's just I felt like it wasn't for me. It's only been recently that I have really understood that like the way I was approaching it was like I didn't have the entire puzzle. I just had a couple pieces and I wasn't putting them together. And so what I had to do is pretty much like I really had to like spend a lot of time like trying to understand myself. At first it was very odd because since I really didn't have a concept of like myself as a person, like I would know I have personality and all that stuff. It's really didn't understand, but like mentally looking at myself as say like a friend or a therapist and just like changing internal dialogue really helped me, and it really helped me understand myself. Of course, like I'm not gonna say I'm complete. I don't think anybody's ever really complete, but it's like I definitely have made more strides in progress than before. And it has been in the wake of having more self-discovery and understanding how I work, and what it's going to take for me to thrive and what I really like. And just slowing down and just taking time to understand. I've been able to take different self-improvement methods and adapt them in ways that will work for me. So all those things, I'm very obviously going to read the book. Joy, healing, prosperity, education, self-discovery are things that are very meaningful for me and have taken a couple years to really form my own understanding of it. I just wanted to say that because I understand like it may still seem vague to some people, but that's if you're dedicating your year to something, I highly recommend doing something that like you want to improve on, but also something you understand. And if it is something more abstract, just take that time to understand how you and yourself operates within the boundaries of that. All right, for my first resolution, slow down and experience the present. This is something that I really need to work on. Just real talk, I do have issues with like dissociation. They're not as long as they used to be, but I think like when you grow up with dissociation or you have dissociation for a very long period of time, just being in the present and like understanding yourself is very odd, and sometimes it can feel a little tormentous. Now I've been dedicating time to try to curate my environment and my inner dialogue and to be something that's more beneficial and nurturing to me. I feel safe slowing down and experiencing the present. I also feel that when I'm grounding myself and taking my time in the present, that I'm able to do so more in a nurturing way now. And I find myself excited to indulge in the present and not get lost in the concepts of how I would like my future to be better or how I wish my past was different. So I'm sitting squarely here. I still have plans for the future and things I'd love to do, and I still do things that would be therapeutic for taking care of my past self, but right now I'm focusing on developing my present self, which I think is very important. My second resolution is be kinder to myself. This is one thing like I've really been learning. I know like to some people it's like, oh, that's cheesy, did you get that off of Pinterest? But this is something, another concept I've finally come to like understand in my own way that makes sense. And like it starts with like little ways where it's like just if I was having a hard time and I was having a hard time taking care of myself, I would like feel bad about it and I'd get on myself about it, be like, listen, you need be more disciplined than this. And I was taking discipline in the way where it's like you're supposed to be scolded to the point of doing something, which is not how it's supposed to be. So being kinder to myself is in ways changing my internal dialogue to be better and more supportive of myself, which is like, oh my god, it's so weird. Like if I would sleep in, I'd feel horrible, but now like if I'm having a hard time getting up, just having a positive internal dialogue really helps me get going. It is weird, but it works. And also it's just trying to take the time to really understand how my mind and my body operates, because as I have been mentioning, it's like I really didn't take the time to understand that, and I really didn't have the tools or the emotional maturity to be able to understand that. So now it's just kind of try to take care of myself and observe myself and do what I can and understand what's best to be done. My third resolution, get to know myself better. Yeah, I mean, I think I went over this earlier about me explaining like self-discovery being on my dedication of the year, but it really is taking time. There's a very good book called Your Guide to Becoming One by the Universe. I forget the author's name, but I'll show it on screen. And that's a book I held on to for a very long time, and it still is very meaningful to me. So, but in a part of this book, the most poignant part of the book for me was having cake and tea with your demons. And in it, it's like you need to meet up with your demons, which could be like your fears or your regrets, and just take the time to hear them out and understand and like learn what their favorite cake and tea is. And this is kind of the approach I have, not just for demons, I guess, but I also just try to apply it to myself in general, just my entire self. Just trying to take the time to understand what it is that I like and what will work best. There's people pushing carts down the hallway and it makes me feel like I live in Minecraft. I love Minecraft. Resolution number 4. Invest in taking care of myself for the long run. Now, this is something that's like really new to me. When you deal with mental illness sometimes for a very long time, it can be hard to think of what it's going to be like in the future. It's really hard to visualize and conceptualize that. And I'm finally at the point where it's like, I have finally written like a 5-year plan, and while I firmly adhere to it, it's more like a suggestion than a plan, but it's still a plan. I really want to take care of myself and make sure I take preventative measures such as like exercising and like keeping my brain active. I also want to try to improve my health by taking different supplements and covering in the gaps of nutrition we're currently having issues with. And also taking more time to visualize what it is more tangibly I want in the future. This one is pretty new to me, but I'm pretty excited. Number 5. Be more mindful of what I consume, both food and media. This one is one I've been working through for the past couple years actually. I just feel like with every year I become more like conscious and better at this. Food-wise, it's really been like a learning curve for me. And I'm trying to only focus only on getting like nut mixes instead of a bunch of different chips and like dried fruits and actual fruits instead of like getting all these other snacks, because honestly I'm not that picky of an eater. It's just I will eat whatever's available to me. So if I have a big box of blueberries, I'll eat that. If I have an entire bag of chips, I'll eat that. So I know with food, it really is just making smarter choices and understanding portion sizes better. Now in media, I know many people understand that like what we consume in media really affects us, but being more mindful of the media I consume, that really entails things where in the past, it's like I wasn't really like respectful of my triggers, and like something would make me upset and I think I would just have to force myself to go through it, and I couldn't understand why I was just getting more sensitive. Not a genius move. But definitely as I'm getting older, my taste in media is really changing. Much of the media I consumed when I was younger that was really cathartic and helpful for me may be too depressing or just doesn't really work with me, because growing up, I consumed a lot of horror or a lot of like abstract things. I remember I had watched Serial Experiments Lane and I loved it. And I mean to rewatch it, but honestly now it's something that kind of brings me down. Or say Alien 9. I rewatched that OVA and I was like, oof. And it's just part of it is understanding that while those things may have helped me feel seen or may have helped me feel or been cathartic to me in the past, now I've come to a different point in my life where I need to explore different things and try to grow and find out what's going to be beneficial for me now. A lot of that is like trial and error. Say for an example, I had gotten like a really cheap yearly subscription of Vogue from like quarantine last year, and it's not my cup of tea, but that's fine. And I'm not gonna make myself try to like it or understand it. And that's because I think that's also another thing is like, we shouldn't try to force ourselves to consume this media or understand it just because it fits a certain image. Also, like, the media you have around and like your living space really subconsciously affects you. And say the different music you're listening to, it's a very active environment that is very complex. And I think part of what I'd like to achieve is just try to take account of how much of it I can control, how much of it I can use for the benefit of myself. Resolution. Be more mindful of my purchases. I don't know when this video is gonna go up, but I know I did doing like a makeup low buy. Didn't mention in it, but I'm also doing like a skincare low buy. For this resolution, actually what I did, I have another page in my planner that's like the 2022 buying guide. And in that guide, I have listed things that like my priority purchases, which are things like I really need and would like to save up for. So I really like try to cut down on, say, like impulse shopping or like retail therapy so I can achieve those things on the priority list. But it also is things like last year I had bought a bunch of those like facial treatment masks, and I still have some. And it's like literally, dude, man, just take a break. You have enough of these. And while some of them are helpful, I'm just kind of like at the point of my skincare, I'm like, eh. Like, my skincare routine's really good. I don't need like a billion pore extractor and pore cleansing face masks. And another part of my buying guide is like not stocking up on skincare, because I have this thing where it's like I actually get like worried and afraid and anxious that I'm gonna run out of like lotion or moisturizer. So I have a habit of being like, oh well, I really like this moisturizer or this skin product, I'm gonna buy it. And then I'll buy something like from a different brand, or like to buy more of it so I have a stash. Now, if that's what you do, like, I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it. For me, it's just like I don't have a ton of room. And I had a big stash partially because I worked at Ulta, and at Ulta they give you this thing called gratis, which is like these free products that you get to try out. So I accumulated a lot from there. But I just had this big stash, and I'm still working through it, and I still find minis and those kinds of things, and I'm like, what the heck? So really just getting a grip on my inventory of like skincare and makeup products. The makeup low buy, honestly, I think will be pretty easy. By being more mindful of my purchases is like just reevaluating what I have currently. I mean, like, do I really need this, or do I want this because it will give me the serotonin I need in this moment, but then it won't later, and it'll be at Goodwill. Next resolution: try to curate my environment to be as healthy and nurturing as possible. That's really just self-explanatory. I would like to like try to get like, say, different posters. I mean, I kind of set because I've been doing this thing where I take out really pretty pictures from magazines and I'll tape them up onto the wall, and I just really like my collage. I also like how I can change it and really just like adapt to it. But this also includes things like I had seen a little fact that ginger might help you with different like serotonin levels, so I want to try to get maybe a room diffuser with ginger or a room spray. It's really not just curating what my room visually feels like, but also like the scent environment. And not only that, it's like for a very long time I had like strict ideas of where I should be putting things. And I would put things there, but that's not exactly the best spot for me. So another aspect of this resolution is trying to figure out, or trying to come in that middle ground where it's in a place that I think looks nice, makes me happy in my little organizational needs, but is also accessible to me and makes me happy in my I just want to grab things and make a stash needs. The next resolution. Allow myself to feel the broad spectrum of emotions. And this one is another self-explanatory one. I think it's just really, especially if you have been coping with like a mood disorder or like post-traumatic stress disorder, it can be like really difficult to be accepting of your different emotions, and for a while it like feels like you really just have to like keep a cap on those negative emotions just for the sake of yourself. And then it can be really hard to like integrate those in a healthy manner into your life. That's something I'm learning. Like, it's okay to be angry, to cope with that anger in a healthy way, and that trying to ignore your anger or just pretend that you're not capable of getting angry is not beneficial. It's also like trying to feel certain emotions in moderation. We have a whole spectrum of emotions for a reason, and we should just be experiencing them in a good manner. My next resolution: spend time cherishing loved ones. This one's very simple, and I just like a sort of awareness to do this. I mean, I try to do it already, and I put loved ones instead like friends and family because like that's very dynamic. Those are very dynamic terms, and like I just have so many people I love and care about and appreciate, and I want to spend more time just like trying to consciously make memories instead of like in the past. While I did cherish my loved ones, it was just very like, because I was in that mindset of just getting from A to B and thinking about my future all the time, I think I like really missed out on being present in the moment with them. So this is just one thing I'd really like to improve on. Also just spending time with my loved ones. I mean, it can be like, oh, I can't go. I have this resolution where I need to spend time with the people I love. Bye. And then my last resolution. I say this, but I'll probably add like 3 more, I'm gonna be honest. Engage in my hobbies and interests in a healthier manner. Now this is one that's really like going to be interesting for me, because it's like, well, I don't think I engage in things in like, say, a toxic manner. Just because you don't engage in something in a toxic manner doesn't mean like you're engaging it in a healthy manner either. Like, I understand that just a part of how I process things and work, I fixate on things and I love it, and it become really like obsessed with it, and then it goes dormant and then it comes back, and you know, that is just part of my process. But there's also like a different kind of, I'm trying to learn the different rings of fixation, if you will, and understand that it's like, yes, there's a bunch of horror podcasts I need to listen to, but I do not need to listen to them all back to back in the same day. It is fine to consume it once in a while. I don't need to obsessively watch things like to get it all done. I need to take the time to appreciate these things. And that is mostly what it is, because like engaging things in a healthier manner, I mean, I don't really engage in a lot of fandom stuff. There's like a small group of people that I will engage in different fandom stuff with, and that's not even like fandom stuff, it's just because like we like it and we talk about it and it's just normal. But another thing is like, also, say for example, I really love like those TikToks of people making the sticker collages and just really beautiful they're like pieces of art, these different collages in their journals, and I will see that and I will want to do it, and then I will want to buy a billion different sticker packs and a bunch of nice journals, and then I'll get them and I'll feel overwhelmed and I'll not do it. So another aspect of it is really taking my time to like curate and understand. And also like, I have a rule where it's like, okay, I like this now, but while I like it in 2 weeks, I like it a month from now. Because sometimes I can have a really strong interest and then it goes away and I never think about it again. And other times I will consistently have that interest for years. That's normal. And anyways, that is the last of my New Year's resolutions. I am interested in knowing if you guys have any resolutions, or if this was helpful in re-examining your resolutions. As I have mentioned, it is really just, well, these are resolutions. I'm really going to be kind with myself. For example, like, is there a set things I would like to do in a day, like as a routine? Yes. But will I be able to accomplish that every day? Most likely not, and that's okay. As long as I meet myself in the middle with my expectations and what I'm capable of doing in a nurturing manner, that's all that matters. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.